Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer, and I am Cheryl M. Health Muse. And I'm here today because I want to talk a little bit about weight loss. Earlier this week, I was part of a discussion where somebody commented, and somebody that I like a whole bunch, that she was going to reframe losing weight so that she wasn't losing the weight because she didn't ever want to find it again. And I am a huge believer in the words that we use, especially in our minds, in terms to accomplish a goal. But in all honesty, I don't want her to use the word weight at all. What I really want my clients to do when they come to me is not to even think about weight. I want them to get healthy. And an amazing thing happens when you get healthy and you start eating lots of vegetables and lots of fruit, and you eliminate all of the toxic chemicals that you can from your life. By doing that and giving your body all the nutrition that it needs, it starts to lose the weight all by itself. I wish to heck I had known this when I was younger. It would have saved me so much grief. For all the years that I struggled with losing weight, for all the years that I beat myself up, that I didn't have enough willpower, for all of those years, if I had only understood that there were things in my food that were causing me to have more hunger, that were causing me to desire to eat more than my body needed, oh my God, it would have been so much easier. So let me talk about that for a minute. Processed food is loaded with chemicals. Yes, there are chemicals, and chemicals are in everything, and somebody disagreed with me in the group that, you don't have to worry about chemicals, you only have to worry about calories. All right, I'm talking about the toxic chemicals. The synthetic food that gives your body no nutrition in processed food hinders you from losing weight because it impacts hormones in your brain that control your appetite. The other thing that does that is sugar. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And he said that was phooey, that sugar is good for you. You can eat as much sugar as you want. Baloney. Sugar turns that same little appestat off that controls your hunger. And it also is toxic, and it interrupts you from properly digesting your food, and it creates something called leaky gut, which is how I got autoimmune disease. Now, he was a nutritionist, more power to him. He needs to go back and start doing some reading because thinking is changing. And that's why I want to talk to you about all of this today. We have been deceived about a lot of things. And he stated that these were all scientific studies that were proving that I was wrong. Well, let me tell you about those scientific studies. Most of them were run by big agriculture, big food, big pharma, and they were run through universities that got big amounts of money. So there's a lot of money passing honey. And those studies were done on control groups that were not normal statistical control groups. And sometimes they didn't even run for very long, so that they couldn't run long enough to prove otherwise. There is something that our US government approves that says that the item in question is grass. It is generally considered to be safe. That doesn't mean that it's been proven to be safe. It just means no one has studied it to know whether it is safe or it is not safe. And since there's no money in checking out whether you can eat nutrition and lose weight that way, there isn't a study on how well does your body do on green vegetables because there's no money in it. So it's not that there are studies that prove that I am wrong. There are no studies that prove that I am right. So there is a lack of knowledge from studies. So I'm going to tell you some things, and if you don't believe me, that's fine. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist, although my husband's a scientist. When we started eating real food and we started eliminating toxins from our life, we lost weight. My husband lost 80 pounds and I lost 45. Okay, I wasn't dieting. I will never buy a New York Times bestseller book again because it's a bunch of bunk. You eat real food, you feed your body nutrition, and your body wants to heal you, and it celebrates, and it starts to function the way it's supposed to. So if you want to believe all the scientific studies that have been skewed, be my guest, but give My Way a chance and see what happens in your body. Number one, you're going to feel better. I got autoimmune disease. I did this because I didn't want to have the pain, and I have accomplished that. I will always have autoimmune disease. I do not have the pain anymore because I've eliminated all these toxins, and my body's running better than it used to. My body is not running perfectly. I stopped after 45 pounds, and I'm not done losing weight. And why is that? Because I am loaded with mold. And I've been through 3 mold detoxes, and I am still loaded with mold. And hark, 10 days ago, I discovered that there's mold growing in the wall behind my chair in my office. And now it's growing on the outside of the wall. So I couldn't see it before. I didn't know where the mold was coming from. I just knew that we were doing, and by detoxing, I'm not talking about doing some kind of a chemical detox. I was doing a real food detox that got all the mold out of my husband and didn't put a puncture in it for me because I was in an environment with mold. So we were drinking a drink that was spinach and kale and parsley and cilantro and lemon and orange and ginger and cucumber. And we were drinking that every morning. That grabbed all the mold out of my husband's body, and it did take some of the mold out of mine, but not enough. And then we were taking fiber to grab the mold to get it out. So this is not the whole picture, but if you eat real food, that's the first step. And if you eat organic, okay, this person who was the nutritionist, who is considerably younger than me, said there is no proof that organic food is better for you. Well, that's not true. If he'd been keeping up with studies, he would know that the University of California at Berkeley has come out with a study that organic food is significantly better for you. One of the reasons it's better is because glyphosate, which is being sprayed on our conventional crops, is cleating all the good minerals out of the earth. And if the plant does get them so that they get into your mouth, when they get to your gut, the glyphosate then cleates all those great minerals right out of your body. So you're getting a double whammy from that conventional crop that's being sprayed heavily with pesticides and herbicides. So if you're eating real food that is organically grown, the crops are being rotated the way they used to. Their dirt is loaded with a lot more nutrients. You may not be aware of this, but the American public not only is extremely obese, but we are very deficient now in important nutrients like magnesium, that when I was a kid, we got out of our crops because they were coming out of the healthy earth from rotating our crops, which we don't do anymore because now we're doing industrial farming and we're doing it with toxic chemicals. So yeah, organic is better. You not only get better nutrition, but you're not getting a heavy load of pesticides and herbicides. Now, what's the biggest herbicide that's being used on our crops if it's not organic? It's Roundup. What is Roundup? Roundup is glyphosate. Monsanto just lost $300 million to a guy who got cancer spraying glyphosate on a schoolyard because for the first time, Robert Kennedy Jr. got involved and got all the documents from Monsanto from 25 years ago that proved that Monsanto had known for 25 years that Roundup has been causing cancer. So if you want to eat your vegetables with a healthy dose of glyphosate by not buying them organic, oh, for God's sakes, knock yourself out. But by eliminating that stuff on my food, I cleaned up my health and I feel terrific. So what does any of this have to do with losing weight? When you eat real nutrients, and you don't have other weirdnesses going on in your body like mold, like I do, your body wants to heal you. You just have to give it the right building blocks. And when you give it the right building blocks, your body rejoices and it starts to function the way it's supposed to, which means it starts to lose the weight. Now, I found an interesting quote today, which is why I decided to go live and talk about this. This is from a book called Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. And this is the comment. Every year, the US population spends more money on diets than the amount needed to feed all the hungry people in the rest of the world. Is that a scary thought? Obesity has a double victory for consumerism. Instead of eating little, which will lead to economic contraction, people eat too much and then buy diet products, so they're contributing to the economic growth twice over. So the government doesn't want you to lose weight. Big Chemical doesn't want you to lose weight. Big Food does not want you to lose weight. Big Pharma does not want you to lose weight, because by being heavy, by being obese, you are putting a lot more money into the economy to make them richer. So the studies are skewed. We don't get the truth. There are no money going into studies that would prove how great vegetables really are for us. And so don't believe me, because again, I am not a scientist, but give it a whirl. Because if you try my way and you eat organic and you eat all the colors of the rainbow and you eat from a farm as close to you as possible so that you get the maximum amount of nutrients, not only will your body start to dance a little dance of joy, but it will also start to drop the weight. So I don't want you to ever say, I need to lose weight again. I want you to say, I want to get healthy. And then I want you to research and do whatever it is that that takes. Now, it's not as simple as that. I made a comment, I don't want you to count calories, I want you to count chemicals. Well, let's correct that. I don't want you to count calories. I want you to eat a lot of vegetables and fruit and small amounts of clean meat. Because by doing that, you don't have to count calories because you're not eating that many in the first place. Okay? That takes care of the calorie part. Yeah, if you eat more calories than you're expending, you'll gain weight. That's all true. But if you do it my way, you don't have to count. I never liked counting them anyway, so that's a good thing. So, and then I want you to count chemicals instead. The comment was, everything's a chemical. That's true. I want you to count the toxic chemicals, and I want you to learn what they are. And I go into this in depth in a couple of places where you can get the information. I wrote an award-winning book that has now won 13 awards that explains all of this from my point of view in terms of why I did what I did and how my body reacted to it. And the book is called It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again. You can buy that on my website, and I'll post my website right under this video. So that's the first thing. Then I have a free film available under the same tab on my website where I sell my book. There is a free video available on the Learn It Live Center at Wellness Universe, where I taught a class about where the biggest deceptions are that marketing has plowed into our heads, that are things that are simply not true. And then where the biggest poisons are that are interrupting our lives and our health. And then the last part is 12 things you can do right away that will help you get well and be well and have your body want to celebrate. That film, that video is free. So you can just go to my website and click on that link. You're going to have to register for the Learn It Live Center if you've never been there before, but then you can watch it at your convenience for